Look, I'm not here to play the blame game. I'm not blaming anybody for the problems that are going on in our school district. Because I don't think there's really any one person to blame. I think that the problem is that social media, the breakdown of the family, all these things are happening to the point of we're not able in education right now. We're not able to keep up with the changes that are occurring. When I say the breakdown of parenting, I see all too often. You go out to restaurants and you have a mother and a father sitting there on their phones while you have two kids sitting there on their phones, and they're just on their phones. That's all they're doing. And I often say to myself, why are they going out to dinner? You know, you can do that at home. You know, you go out to dinner, have a good time, talk to each other, you know, engage in conversation. The fact that many students can't engage in conversation anymore, that's a meaningful conversation, it may stem from that. It's kind of interesting, and I know some people have been in education a lot longer than me. Some have been in there 30, 40 years, you know, and you've probably seen even more than I've seen. But starting in 2003, when literally all we had, cell phones were almost, I mean, they weren't brand new, but not many people, I mean, people had cell phones, but it wasn't, no kids, absolutely no kids had cell phones. All that stuff was brand new. I remember emails, we were all excited because we got this new fast email thing in Charles County. I just remember it being exciting. Everything was starting to get on the computers. That was a long time ago. You know, in the early 2000s, way different. But I've seen it since the early 2000s progress. And while technology has progressed, I've seen the want for learning and the thirst for knowledge from these students has gone. And I don't know whether we can attribute it to the fact that they know that knowledge can be at their fingertips at all time on a computer, or they just don't care about it. Is it not even common sense, but I want to say worldly knowledge. The worldly knowledge that these kids have. 17 years ago, the kids knew that the state they lived in was Maryland. They understood small government and, you know, governments as they go up the line. You know, local government, you know, town government, up to county government, up to state government, and then federal government. They understood that progression, and they understood that there were laws they had to follow, and who made the laws, the different branches of the government. They understood all this, and this is gone. Now, I can attribute that to the fact that no one's teaching it anymore, or at least it's not emphasized. We tend to emphasize only subjects that are tested, and the only subjects that are tested are reading, writing, math, because we're expected to always teach literacy, always teach math. And sometimes, you know, teachers like me, we start seeing the gaps in knowledge, in common knowledge. We start seeing it because I start to go against the system, and I actually do teach content. I teach their social studies. In 4th grade, we teach all about Maryland, and I go beyond that. You know, I start to teach current events because I feel like it's important that they know current events, things that are actually happening in the world. We need to bring that back. We need to bring back life skills, social skills. The kids need to know how to react, know how to talk to each other, know how to interact with each other without constant arguments and fights. Kindergartners are not ready to analyze a text. They're not ready for that. They're not independently reading. Even the students that are independently reading, they shouldn't be analyzing a text. They're learning to hate school. I remember back when I went to T.C. Martin Elementary School, I remember every single teacher I had, and I remember all kinds of activities and lessons. I remember everything from elementary school. I mean, I can break that down. That was how long ago? I'm 40 years old. I remember Miss Howie. I remember Miss Makel, my first grade teacher. Miss Davy, my second grade teacher. Miss Kovac, my third grade teacher. Miss Bender, my fourth grade teacher. Miss Vass, Miss Moody, and Mr. Quincy, my fifth grade teachers. I remember everything about those subjects. It's not a mistake that I remember everything about those subjects. I remember it because it was impactful to me, and I loved school. I loved impressing the teachers. I loved doing things, the activities that we did. They kept us engaged the entire time. It's because testing was not emphasized. Testing was not the end-all, be-all to showing growth and progress. If you do your job, you teach the skill, you teach the strategy, you do your job as a teacher and notice which students are progressing, notice which students aren't progressing as much. Every student will have progressed. Every student. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't test at all. However, I am saying that I'm tired of hearing, don't teach to the test, but then everything we do is data and teach to the test. How can you sit there and tell us these are the best practices, do this and do that, but you have to teach to the test. And this is exactly what we want you to do to teach to that test. It's hypocrisy. That's what it is. I feel like we're a bunch of hypocrites. I say this all the time. It's like we're in a dog and pony show. We're like, what can we do to look the best? What can we do? We got to get the best technology. We got to get the best speakers. We got to get the best of this just so we look good. I can tell you right now, the school I'm in, and I'm going to say it, I'm at Mount Hope Nanjemoy right now. A lot of people, I will tell you, there was a reputation for Mount Hope Nanjemoy before I came. The first years of me teaching, I was in Waldorf schools, and everyone was like, "Oh, you don't want to go down there and work down there. That's school. Yeah, there's no, it's the school's old. It's out in the middle of nowhere." It was a bad reputation, and I'm going to tell you right now, I say to my fourth graders every day, I tell them how lucky they are to be in the school they're in. Not only is it an amazing community, I have 14 students in my class. I had 28 students in my class last year. I am coming into a situation where it's half of a class. 14 students. I can 100% know if they're progressing. I can take the time to almost meet with them daily about how they're progressing. This can't happen when you have numbers over 20. It just can't happen. So there needs to be changes. I know that the issue is money. I understand. It can be helped by really thinking about where that money should be allocated. I think that money is wasted. I think money is wasted in places that it doesn't need to be. I'm tired of the dog and pony show. I'm tired of how can we make everything look. I'm tired of it. The last video that I put up about teaching, I had over 100 private messages on Facebook from teachers, and every single message that I had was positive, thanking me for the video and telling me a situation. And I'm not bringing out situations and talking about it right now on the camera. I'm not going to put that on YouTube of specific situations. However, they were appalling. The amount of teachers that have left the county, relocated, couldn't do it anymore because too much was being asked of them. They were mental illness was rampant. I mean, it's like I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I could keep on going on and on and on. However, I do know that I'm extremely happy in my situation. I love my class. I love my school. It is the most amazing school I've ever been in. And I couldn't be happier with where I am right now as far as in this county with owning a farm, having the most amazing wife and child I could imagine, and being in a school that where kids say please and thank you. They are polite. Most of them want to learn. And I feel supported by the parents. So I'm going to end this video because it is Friday and it's the weekend.